Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of JP Tech Talks. I'm Donovan Wright. As you know, we're trying some new cool technology here today. It's called vMix. It's a software that allows us to do our show live. It allows me to bring in these cool little overlays. I'll do that one more time because it's really cool. Bringing in some lower thirds, graphic overlays. We can do fun things like bring up our school logo. It's kind of in the way, obviously. Still working on placements and learning some fun new things with this technology. But today's video is all about how to get your photos off of your camera. Doesn't do much good if you just take photos. Eventually you'll fill up the SD card and you're not going to be able to do much with that. So we're going to talk about the basics of how to get the photos off your camera onto your computer, and then how you can organize those using Adobe Bridge. So let's jump right into that today. Most of you, I'm sure, have cell phones, you know technology, so you know what a USB cord is, or what it might have been if you have an older phone from your parents or something. You're definitely going to have one of these kind of cables kicking around. On one end, it has your standard USB 2, I guess it would be, standard USB port. On the other end, you have a mini USB. Really hard for that to focus for some reason. That is going to fit into the side. We have all Canon cameras here at Jasper Place, so they're all going to be the same. On the side of the body, they have a set of ports. Some of the ports are a little bit different on different models of our cameras. This particular camera has an HDMI port, a mini USB, and then a control link port so that you can use a length control for shutter control. If you're doing photos on a tripod that you want to be really steady, you can add in those features that way. So super simple. You simply just plug in the mini USB into the side of the camera here. You're going to take this standard USB port, plug it into the front of your computer. Depending on if you have a USB 2.0, 3.0, all that kind of stuff, you pick the port. USB ports in general are going to work for this operation. One trick to note, you're not going to get anything unless the camera is turned on. So on the top of a Canon camera here, you have to turn this switch on. Gives you the ability to turn it on. You will see that the screen goes blank. You can't see my monitor right now, but my screen is telling me that I'm connected to a Canon Rebel T6, which is the particular make of this camera. So that's a great thing. That means that we're off to the races and we have started being able to download those photos. Now, depending on if you're working on your home computer, where you are at the school here, they've disabled the pop-ups, so the camera won't automatically try to download anything at this point, at least. If down the road they change that, I might have to update this video, but regardless, it looks like we're headed in the right direction. So we need to know how to copy those photos off of the camera at this point. A couple different ways you can do that. I'm going to jump into my live screen capture here right now so you can see my screen. Here's some video files from earlier today. We're going to close that right now and get into searching for those files. So two different ways that I know that tend to work the best for us. One is just simply go to this PC. It's going to bring up all the drives that are connected to your computer, one of them being the Canon Rebel T6. Here you can go in, select through this SD folder and into the DCM. It's going to then give you a folder labeled 100 Canon, sometimes it's 101, sometimes 102, whatever it might be. The different setups for each camera might be a little bit different depending on where the last photo was taken. If the photo was at 999, it's going to kick over to folder 101 for the next batches of photos, because it starts always at 1 and goes to 999. That's just the default preset for Canon cameras, at least that I've found. All the Rebel cameras in our lab work that way. So we're going to jump into this folder here, and you'll see a whole bunch of pictures. These were ones that I took on a family holiday over the summer. So I just thought I'd bring them in and use them as example photos here. There's a whole bunch of them. There's 180 photos in this drive. I could simply click on the first one, go all the way to the very bottom, click on the last one, and then I would be able to right-click, select copy, and bring those over into the new folder that I want to go to. In this case, you guys should always be saving things to your F drive. If this video is for any normal, just non-JP person that happens to be watching, I don't care where you save it. You just need to know where you save it. People have different conventions about saving. I like to label as much as I can, and I hate deleting things, so it's always good to know where those project files are when you're going through stuff. Make sure though that you pick a place and just stick with it. In this case, everyone in my ComTech class should have a ComTech folder. I'm just going to create a ComTech 2 folder so there's no confusion. So if you don't know how to create a new folder, you would just simply click on the desktop here or on your folder view. Just right click, select new. You want to create a folder that says ComTech 2 in this case. I can go inside that folder and I would now be able to right click and paste all those photos. Now, as great as Windows Explorer is for copying off these photos, it's not super good for being able to edit or organize or really preview these photos very well. You can play around with the thumbnail size and stuff, but even the largest thumbnail is still not very big when it comes right down to it. Obviously, they have the preview pane that you can bring up and try to organize it here efficiently, but it still really becomes a little bit clumsy when it comes to organizing your photos and being able to work with them effectively. Because we're going to be working with Photoshop and or Illustrator or InDesign, primarily we might as well use the programs that are available from Adobe. So we're going to go into a program called Adobe Bridge. So again, just in your start menu, you're going to open that up. You might have to search through here to find it. I've got a little short command for it, Adobe Bridge. We're going to pull this program up and we're going to check through and see where it differs from Windows Explorer. There's our ComTech 2 folder. I've already opened this up earlier. If you open up Adobe Bridge and it's not at your particular F drive or wherever it might be, you might need to start over here a little bit. Going back to the desktop just shows you everything that's on this computer's desktop, but specifically this PC gives you a similar view to what we had in Windows Explorer, where you have the different drives that are linked or connected to your computer. If we were going to copy the pictures off directly from Adobe Bridge, you could do the same exact operation as you did before. Go into the Canon T6, through the set of folders, you'd be able to find those pictures and copy them off. In this case, we will go to our F drive, and we're going to go into the ComTech 2 folder. And if everything's done copying, we should be able to have ourselves 186 thumbnails that will show up here. And we're going to need to organize through these in a fairly efficient manner. So I like to give myself just a starting to sort things through. I like to just give myself a folder that's a good folder. So again, I'm using the same operation as in Windows Explorer. I'm right-clicking, selecting New Folder, and then I am going to call this one Bad or Not So Good. A few different ways you can go through this. One is simply to drag and drop. So if you'd consider this a bad photo, and I kind of would agree with you, you drag this into the bad folder and simply there it goes. You can go through and just select multiple photos here. Maybe there's a few of them that are a little bit suspect. Drag those all into the bad folder and you're good to go. You can also go through your folders picture by picture here like this, or I can group multiple pictures. So in this case, I'm not a big fan of any of these photos. They're all a little bit just kind of boring. So I'm going to throw them all in the bad folder for now. I might go back later. Sometimes you're in a weird mood. Maybe you're not having a great day when you go sorting through your photos, or you're trying to hurry. You might have missed something. So I really do not like to delete any photos right off the bat. I really prefer to just move them into a bad folder for now, and then I can always look back at them later. Or maybe when I was on the trip, I remembered taking a picture and I don't find it when I'm going through my good set of files. I may have accidentally copied it into that bad folder. If I just start randomly deleting things, really quickly you can lose some very valuable information. And yes, you can sometimes undo, but it's just best to have an operation that's not going to allow you to accidentally delete anything that's super important. So moving right along here, you can there's a bunch of different ways that you can sort things. Obviously, these are some pictures of me and my daughters kind of running around in this field here. Nobody wants to see the top of my bald head, so we'll get rid of that. Those couple photos. If you've got some that are very similar, this is what I like about Adobe Bridge, is that it's got this preview window right away. You can actually also do what's called a carousel view. So you can actually select multiple photos, and using the shortcut on the keyboard Control B, you can bring up this carousel view, and you can actually select through using the arrow keys on your keyboard left and right to see which pictures you might like the best. Here's my daughter with her, looks like she's got some sunglasses on or something, but I don't think she does. Must just be the way the sun is hitting her in the hair there. So you can go through the different photos here. Two of them are very similar. So I can pick the one that I like the best, and then I simply hit the down arrow, and it's going to get rid of the photo that is not as cool. So in this case, we got two similar photos. I'm going to take this one and put it to the side for now. Similarly here, you can see it's not as easy when there's only four, because just it's highlighting just the name of the photo. But this one here in the bottom right hand corner doesn't look quite as nice. So now I have these three that I like. I hit escape. Those three are going to remain selected. The other three are no longer selected. So these ones I can move to my good folder, and then these other three I can move to my bad folder. So simply you would just do your basic first pass of editing through your photos, taking out any that are duplicates. If you happen to shoot your photos in both RAW and JPEG, you might make a set of folders that gives you the option to have one set of folders be all your JPEG photos and the other set of photos be all your RAW file photos. Just depends on what works best for you, what kind of workflow you really like. Biggest thing is keep yourself organized as best as possible. If you organize from the beginning, you'll organize right till the end. It makes it so much easier. Moving right along here, some other cool things that you can do within Adobe Bridge. Obviously, I've mentioned the preview functionality and stuff. There's the odd time that your computer will do weird things and the preview won't show up. That doesn't mean that the photo is broken. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with it. But be careful. You may need to restart or go out to make sure that you don't lose anything. I'm going to keep all of these ones. We only need one of these. Similarly, oftentimes you'll take a few photos and one will be great and one will be kind of whatever. It's nice to be able to go through them and edit them. Sometimes though, you might not want to be moving them into folders. You might want to do that after, or maybe all your photos are very similar. So you might actually want to rank your photos. Well, there's a way to do that in Adobe Bridge. It's really easy. So we can kind of go through here, taking a look at these photos. This one's not so bad, but it doesn't really fit our standard composition of rule of thirds. But this one gives us a little bit more. The waterfall's kind of in that rule of thirds orientation. Maybe not perfect, but regardless, I would maybe rank this as like a 4. So if you use Control 4 on a PC, it's going to give you this little 4-star that shows up, and you see it here on the thumbnail. You have a 4-star ranking. I can rank these other two. Maybe I just think they're 2s. So I can select 2 different photos. You can select hundreds of photos, but if you wanted a couple that are the same ranking, you can go through and rank those. In this case, This one just has slightly more trees. I might just get rid of this one, put it in the bad folder. Then later on, as I'm going through my photos, I might find a whole bunch more that are 2s, 3s, 4s, whatever it might be. And then in the bottom here, as I'm creating these rankings, it is showing me the information. It's showing me that I have 2 folders in this file. Inside this folder, it's showing me that I have 145 JPEGs, and it's showing me that I have 2 of them ranked as number 2s and two of them ranked as 4s. Well, if I select this 4-star here, it's now going to show me just my 4-star images. So now I could go through those and I could pick my best ones. Maybe I pick some 5 stars and I can just update their ranking to be a 5-star. Now if I do that, it's going to go away because I've only selected 4-star photos to show up. So again, it can get a little confusing. You might come in here and be like, where did all my photos go? Make sure that you check these rating/sort icon checkboxes down here, because you might have an issue. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys is that you can batch rename files. So in this case, I've got all these good photos. They came from our Banff trip, but I want them to all have a similar name so that I could search for them later and find them under Banff, or Jasper I should say. If I just select them, again, click the first image, hold the shift key, select the last image, I can right click on any one of these images that's already highlighted and select batch rename. When I do that, it's going to give me whatever the last settings I used were, and in this case I did this already earlier today. So Jasper Trip Summer 2018 is the title. I'm going to fix this to be a capital, and I'm going to reset this back to 0, or excuse me, back to 1. So the first picture is going to be Jasper Trip Summer 2018-001 instead of image 0242, which means nothing and can get very confusing if you have thousands of photos and none of them have a very specific name. It's definitely going to get confusing. So I'm going to hit rename there. It will rename all of those photos. They're ready to go for me, that I can now do my further edits. When you guys are doing your projects coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about basics of photography and composition and a lot of different things, and I'll try to put some of those presentations on here as well. It's a little bit harder. Obviously, some of the stuff we do is tutorial based for everybody to use and for general use. Some of it is very specialized to my class. So I will try to post some of those videos. No reason not to, really. That way, if you missed my class, you know where to go, you can find the information, and you can hear me talking about the material as opposed to just purely watching the presentation on your own. Everything is found on our JP website for JP Comtech. So I would highly encourage you, if you've never been there before, that you pop in and you head to our JP Comtech or our jpcomtech.wordpress.com. I'm gonna need to make a need to make a graphic for that later on, but here's our website, jpcomtech.wordpress.com. You can head in here, go to the photography section, and you will be able to find not only this video that I'm making right now, but also any other worksheets, assignments, information with regards to my class, myself, how I want things laid out. Lots of different information here about photography and the basics of photography. Hope you all enjoy it. Looking forward to doing more videos like this, live style, where you can see me a little bit. We can try to interact. There's a social media aspect to this program that I'd love to get interactive with and do my videos live, so that it's not just my kids in my class benefiting from this information, that we can get this out to the world. Not that it's anything new, but it's always a good way to get other people's ideas and thoughts on photography and how we can make ourselves better as photographers. That's it for today. Again, I'm Donovan Wright with Jasper Place High School. This is one of our JP Tech Talks. Looking forward to doing some more for you in the future. For now, have a great day.